What's up, my chatterboxes? I am back for another review. It's been a long time since I've been able to review a TV show, and I'm excited. So this review is going to be on Greenleaf Season 5, Episode 2, the second day. So I'm just going to pre-warn you guys that I'm not going to lie. I didn't really watch a lot of last season on Greenleaf, so I have to get reacclimated with like some of the names and stuff like that. So if I mess up on some of the names, please don't hold me to it. I will try to correct myself as I go on. But let me tell you, this used to be my show, and I'm just excited to be able to get on here and give you guys some content other than some gossip chat. So anyway, it starts off with Jacob. He in some kind of like storage facility, looking through some mail or things like that. I don't know what the importance of that is just yet. So we probably will find that on later on in the show. So then it moves to the hospital because like we know Grace found AJ, he attempted to take his own life with cutting his wrist last episode. So she found him on the bathroom floor. So now, we at the hospital now. So he's going to recover from his injury. Grace was talking to the nurse or the doctor, and she was saying how they gave him like a blood transfusion, and they stitched him up, he's gonna be fine or whatever. So she was all like, well, what can I see him? So she's like, listen, the best bet for you, the doctor said to Grace, the best thing for you is to just go home. She said, because when he wakes up and if he want to see you, that's totally his decision. So she can't force him to want to see. And then they have to have him under a 72-hour psychiatric hold on top of that. So I mean, it's really nothing you could do there, while he's unconscious, or like she said, when he wake up, he might not even want to see you. So the doctor, I don't know what kind of vibe I got off of her, because she was saying, Grace, when you found him, did you sustain any, injuries from the razor blade? And Grace was like, no. She was like, well, she said, why? She was like, well, that's standard precautions. And I'm like, the way she was looking, I'm like, did they run a blood test? Is something wrong with them? Do he got some kind of like disease, or what's going on? Because like, I don't know. I think it may be more to that questioning, because I don't think that would be protocol to see if she had, like, if it was protocol, you would call the cops in there and to have somebody checked out. That's not protocol for the doctor to do that. So I don't know. And then she was like, is that his girlfriend over there? And she was like, no, that's his sister. I forced everyone else to leave, but she, they're pretty tight, so she stuck with it. So I don't know. We will see. Okay, so now we have Lady May, and we also had the bishop. They at the house, and he's still trying to have her go down to the church or the courthouse to get married, and she all like, because he trying to, have her get something to eat, because she didn't eat because they were at the hospital all night. And she like, I ain't going to eat until my Lord tell me to eat. I'm like, oh my God. So, she's up in arms about, AJ, everybody, I mean, rightfully so. Everybody's, scared and nervous about, about AJ. So, I mean, I get it. But he's still trying to lock her down. He's like, listen, she got away once. I'm not trying to let her get away again. He's trying to lock that shit down. So then you got, Grace come in, her daughter come in, Sophia, she came in. So they were talking about she gave him an update on AJ and things like that. So she also gave him the key because they're going to go look at the club, Mavis's club. So she basically said, if y'all like what y'all see, it's been vacant for over a year now. If y'all like it, just go for it. So in walks Charity. Charity trying to get an update on what was going with AJ, and Grace was like, well, he's okay. And she was like, that's all I get. And Grace kind of like walked away. So I didn't realize, because like I said, I didn't really watch last season. So I ain't know Cherry did all that fucking bullshit with trying to get AJ locked up, got their church taken away from them, all the conniving, because I kind of watched a little bit of last season, so I knew she was up to something, but I didn't watch it to fruition to see how it all played out. So you did all this scandalous shit, and you think you about to get an update on what's going on. You're lucky I ain't spitting your goddamn face. Oh my goodness, Charity always been the weakest goddamn link. She really has. Anyway, so when she said to her parents, like, dang, I would think she would have said more than me. The Lady Grace got in her ass. She gave her an old Bible tongue lash. I can't remember every goddamn thing she was saying, but it come to, she said something about, I would plant you under a tree, and I don't know, but she gave it to her. I can't remember all the goddamn thing, but like I said, she gave it to her. And Charity was like, well, y'all invited me to the wedding. She was like, I only invited you because your dad forced me to invite you. She was like, she basically called her a Jew. Matter of fact, it ain't she basically called it. She called the goddamn Judas. And, Bishop said, listen, your mom not entirely wrong. You did a lot of fucked up shit. Like, even the mom said, like, you almost got AJ locked up. You got our church taken away. Like, come on. You lucky they letting your ass stay there. How could you even want to stay there knowing that you put them through all that turmoil that you did? You understand what I'm saying? Listen. Well, Lady Grace wasn't having it with her. She can't stand her. And like I said, rightfully so. So she gonna say, well, I'm leaving. So Bishop like, well, where you going? So this is Charity. Well, I'm going to work where people actually like me. Well, maybe you should see if you can live at work, because guess what? Charity, if I was you, I think I'd sleep with one eye open, because the way your mom aired you out and the things that you did, I couldn't trust that I couldn't trust that you'll be safe in that house. You just ain't get it yet. You just ain't get it. So moving past that, so now we at Jacob house. So you see Carissa and Zora, they folding up clothes or whatever. They folding up clothes, and they having a little conversation. So Carissa wanted to talk, to Zora, and said, like, if you ever need to talk to somebody, just know that I'm here. So Zora like, well, where is all this coming from? And she was like, well, with your cousin AJ and things like that. So Zora joking like, the only person I need to talk to, no, she said, I talk to the Lord every day. So she was like, listen, I'm talking about me. That's what Carissa said. I'm talking about me. She was like, and stop joking about the Lord. So Jacob ended up coming in. He had like a little tackle box. So they like, well, what is that? He was like, a tackle box. So Carissa like, well, when you start fishing. I forgot what Jacob said. So then the daughter Zora like, well, where you been all night? He was like, young lady, I the one who do the questioning. You don't question me. So Carissa asked him that he remembered out the appointment. So they really not trying to let Zora know that they actually they going to get a divorce. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they keeping it from her, because she's going to be pissed once y'all get the divorce and then y'all decide to come tell her. She old enough for y'all to be able to sit her down and say, listen, things ain't working out. We're separating. This right here may no longer be. She's old enough. I feel like y'all owe it to her. Listen, I don't know. Carissa trying to hold a little small talk with them, I don't know. So I'm gonna see how that play out too. So now we have Grace. She's on the phone with Rick Fox. I forgot his name on here. It'll come to me. So anyway, there, he gave her a call because he didn't know what was going on with AJ. So when she told him, that AJ, she said she was kind of happy that he called. And when she told him that AJ, hurt himself, he was, what he's supposed to say. I'm sorry. Oh, she was like, I'm more concerned of what you was trying to call me and say. So he was like, well, that doesn't seem important right now. You're going through a lot. So basically, he wanted her to go with him to one of the pastors. I think she said like S&H or H&H church. So he's trying to talk to them, I guess, to prevent like them to do the merger. But another pastor had already got in his ear and told him don't talk to nobody else. So this story with that is kind of developing, and I know it's gonna be some mess with it. So I'm gonna keep y'all posted as the show go on, because y'all know how I do my reviews. I watch it, and on break I do my little reporting so I can retain the information. So let's see how this play out this episode. So Grace doesn't understand what's going on as far like why is it top secret that they don't want none of the pastors to talk to like the member of the press. So Darius want to dig a little deeper, because he want her to go to lunch with him so they can, kind of dig a little deeper. So she kind of got like a little hesitant. So he was like, well, I know they haven't gotten to you anyway. So too. So she like, no. So she's supposed to be meeting with Noah, and I guess to talk to him about whatever's going on with AJ and things of that nature. So he kind of was like fishing to see if she was kind of having something going on with Noah, and she was like, no. I think Noah married. I think she mentioned to him something about his wife. So she was like, no. Last time that he and I talked, it didn't end good. So now we got Lady Grace and the bishop. They at Mavis's place looking at it because they want to start the church. So Lady Grace not having that stuff because Bishop and Mavis got a history, and then everything that's going on, like Mavis, she was like the hit party person. So it's a lot of bad blood between Mavis and Lady May. So she was saying how it would have to be gutted. He was Bishop saying how if they do all that, they gotta let Mavis know. And she was like, well, why? She gave it to Grace. It's no longer her place. It was just a mess. So he was like, so he said, do you want the changes that you're trying to make with this place? Do it have anything to do with your residual feelings for Mavis? She was like, it has everything to do with my feelings. I'm like, okay, lady, she don't be playing. So he looking at her like she the fuck crazy, which she not. So she was like, in order for me to want to set up shop here, you gonna have to gut this place. She said, because it's probably dead bodies under there, and it's a lot of booze and everything. When no telling what's under there when it come to Mavis. So she was like, you want me in here? Gut it. And she stormed her little ass out. And I'm like, oh, listen, he ain't gonna have it. He ain't gotta win. If he want that up and running as a church, that's what he gonna have to do, gut it. Because Lady May ain't playing with him. She not playing. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Excuse my grandbaby in the back, y'all. So anyway, so we see Charity. She goes into the church and they painting her goddamn office. So apparently, I guess Damaris, the new head, I guess she's the bishop now, like the pastor of the church. She wants that office to be her, some kind of plantation pink or some shit. So she was pissed off. She wasn't feeling it, and I forgot his name. If you guys, if I catch it towards the end of the show, let me know. But I forgot his name. Like I said, I ain't up on all the names. So she stormed into the guy who she allowed to take over. They teamed up to take the church from her parents. She went into his office and she was like, well, what the hell is that? He was like, well, that's primarily, the pastor of the church office anyway. I don't see anything wrong with that. So she basically said, it seemed like you her little bitch. And she like knocked the papers off his desk and stormed the hell out. And he looking like, his facial expression is like, what the hell did I get myself into? Because you her little bitch. You her little bitch. So even moving on from there, now we got Jacob and Carissa. They at the lawyer's office, trying to work out whatever they got going on. So she want custody of the youngest child. And they asked him, well, are you planning on to get a job? And he was like, well, what do they have to do with it? They was like, well, with your track record, you need to have some income. I'm like, oh shit, she coming hard. So he was like, well, y'all need to ask her about her track record. So this divorce is going to get messy, and I am here for it. Okay, so now we have Grace and Noah. They at the hospital, and she was asking him, do he think that he can, work it out with, his wife? And he said no. He said, because I guess the situation make him realize that he's missing something. So basically, he in the round that he want Grace back. You know what I mean? And Grace looking like, don't say it, nigga. Don't say it. That's how she was looking like, I ain't trying to hear it. So the nurse comes in. I think she the doctor. I keep saying nurse, but the doctor comes in. And she basically let them both know that he doesn't want to talk to either one of them. And Grace was like, well, what? That's my, we're his parents. So she's basically saying, like, it's a lot of shame that comes with it and stuff like that. So Grace like, what do you mean? And y'all heard me say earlier on in this thing, I think there's something more to it. Maybe he, tested positive for like HIV or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But the way she hinting is that it's like another shoe going to drop when it comes to this situation. And maybe he don't want to deal with it. Maybe he don't, he dealing with a lot of other things on top of, him knowing what he did and can't, handle it. So anyway, moving on from there, now we have the Zora and Sophia. Sophia she wanted to do like a playlist. Oh, you know what? I think I need to, no, what? I'm on track. So wanted to do like a playlist, and she said that she had it, but somehow it got deleted. Zora giving Sophia, problems because apparently, I guess, Sophia had caused problems in Zora situations. So Sophia was like, give me a break. I just lost my virginity, and 3 days later, the person I lost my virginity to thinking about he want to get with his ex. So, like, give me a break. So she was like, Zora was like, well, maybe we need to talk more. She was like, yeah, maybe we do. So she allowed her to get the playlist. They had like little small talk, and that was kind of like the most of that. So now Noah and Grace, they actually were talking. Let's back up. So Charity, she's at the church and she's talking to. And you know what? I know I messed it up because I said Judy was the pastor. No, she's going to be the pastor's wife. And Charity let it be known when she was talking to them, she was, because Judy all kissing on them, and I guess she was making like I guess she was being offensive to Charity, or at least Charity took offense to her, maybe because she was still feeling the pastor anyway. So she was asking her, how do you roll up the paper like that without balling the ends? Like all this little stupid shit she was saying. And she was like, oh, you can meet with them to Charity because you're good at that. I seen what you did with the choir. But all along she kissing on the pastor and all of those stuff. She knew what she was doing. So as she was leaving out, Judy was leaving out, Charity said, well, you know what, Judy? He's only marrying you because your father's making him do it. So she comes back and basically said, like, basically jealousy is like a bad is like a bad trait, and she was like, somebody with class or some shit like that. She said know when to move on. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So Charity was pissed off, but Charity was pissed off because Judy was trying to rub it in her face, and Judy got pissed off because she didn't want to hear that shit Charity had to say. But you could look in the pastor's face, he still do got a thing for Charity. So I don't know. And he want her to, make a move for him because he not getting no leeway with it. So, that's going to be an ongoing mess with them. So Noah basically was telling, because I'm moving on from there. Noah and Grace, they were leaving out the hospital. And he basically was telling Grace that he wanted to meet up with her because, he want them to be a family. And Grace wasn't here for that. And she was like, I'm glad you stepping up for your son and things like that. And you want to, be involved. She was like, but we ain't been around each other, guys know how long. And I've been with my family for 3 years and I feel like I still can't fit in. And he was like, well, that's because that's who you are. And she was like, take that back. And he was like, all right, I'll take it back. He was like, well, what I meant to say. She was like, I don't want to hear what you meant to say. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, did he hit a fucking sore spot or did he hit a sore spot? I guess he did because she wasn't feeling that shit. So he ended up saying, all right, we'll meet here tomorrow. Same time. He left it alone. And that was the best bet for him because Grace was about to rip his goddamn head off. So then Bishop was trying to call Mavis. That's all you hear was like laughing or whatever in the background. So I don't know what the hell Mavis was up to because she a party queen. So moving on from that, so we see Grace, she's sitting on the step of the house and Lady Mae come and talk to her, and Grace basically told Lady Mae that AJ doesn't want to see her. So Lady Mae was like, I know, when Faye first died, she used to go to the room. She was like, and then now she go to the grave, and she was like, she knows she's not there, but she like to entertain like the idea, and then she fantasized about when they all in heaven and her walking up to, to her, and she was like, and I know all is that different from your child telling, basically saying that he wasn't want to see you. He was like, I know nothing compared to that. So they hug it out, and then here come Charity pulling her ass up. So she like, Ma. So Lady Mae like, what do you want, Charity? So she was like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to both of you. So basically she's saying, is this how it's going to be? Is this how it's going to be for the rest of my life? Grace just walked away from her ass. Grace is over her. And so Charity was like, well, maybe I should just leave. She was like, and take Noah, take Nathan with me, her son. She was like, because she's saying, I'm having problems at Calvary because Judy there, and then I'm having a problem with you too. So Lady Mae was like, Grace just left the hospital where her son refused to see her. You don't know what problems is, Charity. And she's absolutely right. Charity, you got some motherfucking nerve to think that everything gonna be peachy and cream because you ready for it to be peachy and cream. Because when you was smelling your goddamn ass, messing with the goddamn now pastor of Calvary, you wasn't worrying about all the destruction and how your mom and your sister and everything was gonna feel, and plotting to get her son locked up. So why you think, because you want to talk and because now shit not going your way, that they supposed to be, communicating you with open arms? Get the fuck out of here, Charity. Charity, listen, if you want to take your son and go, maybe that's what's best for you. Get the fuck up out of town, please. Miss me with the bullshit, Charity. So moving on from there, piece of crap, Charity. So now Clarissa and Jacob, they go home, and Zora meets them. So she figures out that she kind of like was aggressive with him, and she was like, where y'all? So they asked her like, where was the son? I forgot the name. She was like, he's laying down. She was like, y'all getting a divorce. And Jacob was like, don't be talking to us like that. Yeah, she was like, y'all getting a divorce. She basically was like airing them out. So she stormed off. So they goes in the room, and he was like, he's just going to... So Jacob said that he was just going to tell her. He was like, and get it out the way. And Clarissa said, you better think about that, because I'll march that will got to the police station. She was like, you 20 years of you doing what you wanted to do. She was like, and you can't forgive one indiscretion that I did. Like, he was like, we don't even know if that will is real. She was like, well, we'll sure find out. I'm like, oh my God. She was like, you tell her, you'll see, and you'll see what I do. You tell him, you see what I do. I don't understand why she's trying to keep it a secret. You know what I'm saying? And Jacob, that's one thing about these men. And she right about that shit. You could be out here screwing around town doing all this scandalous stuff. So when a woman do it to a man, it's the last thing that could have... It's like the final straw that broke the camel's back. It's the end of the goddamn world. But you could have slept with 100 floozies. She sleep with one, and it's like World War III. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. So now we moving on. So we see Grace. She's in her, she's in a room, and her daughter Sophia, she wants to give her the I guess it's like the MP3 player or the music that she downloaded for AJ. So she basically told her that AJ doesn't want to see her right now. She was like, but she'll try to give it to him tomorrow. So she was like, well, where did you get it from? So she said she got it from Zora. She was like, oh, y'all back speaking? So she was like, barely. Because with them little teenagers and stuff like that, they go through their little emotions. So she leaves out, and Charity comes in. So Charity was like, she passed her this envelope, and she was like, well, what is this? She was like, just open it. So basically it was a poem that Charity wrote when she lost her daughter, like her, because Nathan was a twin. So when she lost her daughter, and Charity thought this was like the best gesture. She didn't see any wrong in it. And Grace said to her, why would you give me this? She was like, because I understand how you feel. And she was like, I lost a child. So Grace said, look, I haven't lost a child. And she said, how sick do you gotta be that you making my child attempted suicide about you? She was like, how dare you? And then Charity, she acting like she all appalled and all offended, and she don't understand why Grace, is irate. And she grabbed the envelope and said, you and mama deserve each other, and storm out. Bitch, You out of pocket. Grace was absolutely right. Now you trying to get sympathy out of her goddamn son attempted suicide. If you don't go take your ass somewhere, and I know I shouldn't be cursing this much because this is a Christian show, and but they got their own drama, and they ain't living like Christian supposed to be living anyway on this goddamn show. So I can say what I want to say and curse how I want to curse. Forgive me. Bye. So moving on from that, now we have Lady Grace. She's in the bedroom. Bishop come in, and he was telling her how he was just going to proceed with the contractors, with the demolishing Mavis club so they can renovate it for a new church. So she was like, you got in touch with my sister? He was like, no. He was like, she said, you sure you want to do that without talking to her? He said, so he basically said, we ain't got to go through her to do what we need to do. So he was like, I was thinking maybe we should set a date for our marriage. For our wedding. She said, who wedding? Our wedding? He said, yeah. So she said, you don't remember we already set a date? You don't remember that conversation? And he was like, we did? And then he was like, oh yeah, I remember Flag Day. So now I guess they teasing that he about to have dementia or some shit like that. Oh my goodness. They can't catch a goddamn going break. So we don't know how this all going to unfold, but when somebody get that dementia on these shows, they kind of rapidly deteriorate real quick. So we'll see how the storyline goes with that. So we see Sophia. She was trying to reach out to, I guess that was her boyfriend or the guy that she lost her virginity to, and the ex-girlfriend answered the phone. And when she asked for him, she was like, this isn't him, and bye. Next thing you know, she is in a house, and Zora comes in there and asks her that she sent him a titty pic. She was like, that's between me and him. That's our business. She was like, well, no, it's everywhere. So she showed her that I guess the girlfriend probably uploaded her boob to social media. And people got to be real careful with that. Like, that slut shaming and that revenge porn, that shit get you in a lot of trouble. It will get you in a lot of trouble. So people need to be careful when they do stuff like that. You see how Blac Chyna got robbed or jammed up for that shit. Oh, so moving on from that, now we have, I guess that his name was Hal. He had called Grace, the one of the pastors that Grace went to his house with Rick Fox. So he called her. He was like, listen, I want to talk to you. He was like, and I don't want this. We don't ever have to speak again after this. Or, he didn't want whatever he had to say to her to get out. So he said, I think E.W. Landon or something like that. So she didn't know what that meant. He was like, well, I got to get off the phone. So I guess she's going to find out exactly what he meant by what he said. So he told her, tell that reporter don't ever try to contact him again. So it's some deep shit that's about to hit the fan. It's some deep shit that's about to hit the fan, and I'm here for it. So now moving on from that, we have Bishop. He playing like an old record and just sitting there thinking. I guess, I don't know if he in his mind and memory lane or, that just mellows him out. I don't know. I don't know what the significance of that was, but they showed it, and I'm going to talk about it. So now after that, then we see Grace. She's at the hospital, and she's visiting. I guess she's want to visit her son, but like we all know, he don't want to see her at the moment. So we just don't know. So I hopefully he'll get the courage that he want to speak to his mom, see his sister, and at least his father. But I'm curious as to what secret that doctor is holding, like, because it's patient, doctor confidentiality, so she can't talk about it like, it's HIPAA, but she kind of insinuating like something going on. So I want to know what that hangnail is. Anyway, so now we have, I forgot to tell y'all. So Jacob found, when he was fishing with his son, he found in the old tackling box an old will, and I think it said something about Loretta Davis. I think that was the name on there. And I'm not sure what the significance of that will is yet. I don't know if it's real. I don't know what's what, but it look official to me. So he goes the episode ends with him going to Tasha's place and asking, I forgot the name of the person that he asked for, but she told him that he was dead, and then it was just like went off. So I don't know if the person that he was looking for is cited in that will. I don't know, but we will see. So that's all I had for this episode. I know I was a little rusty because, like I said, I didn't really watch last season, so it's going to take me a couple episodes to get in the groove of things. But I hope you guys were entertained. I hope you guys stayed with me. I hope you guys, enjoyed it. And that's all I have for this episode of Greenleaf. I will be back next week. I hope you guys will be back with me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to holler at your girl. Bye!